I got to start a little bit earlier. Bucky came in while I was setting up, and I'm like trying to type with one hand while carrying him around. You can see his little beautifulness. He now like drapes across my arm, and it's Panther style. Yeah. So Bucky will often yeah. So he just it's easier to hold him kitty cuddle like this, and he just lays down on his back, and you get to pet his belly and his chest, and he's very sweet. And he watches the mouse as I'm moving it around the screen, and then he starts doing there's a bird at the window, the bobcat Goldway thing. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You guys could probably barely see him against my shirt, but there he is. This is Bucky, who's handsome, and goes. No, he's black. He's very black. He's a dark. He's got a couple of lines in him when the sun hits him right, where he's got like lines in his fur, and he's got a couple of like white. Here you go. You dangle up here. You want to sit up there like a. You want to pirate around a little bit? There you go. He does this. He just drapes. He's like a panther for real. Just like you're sitting on a limb waiting for a sheep to walk by. He's super cute. Yeah. Can I do my show now, young man? May I? Okay. I'm gonna let you go now. Can you please? Thank you. Can you please? You're super adorable. Yeah. Thank you. I know. I need to get you a little like. I'm gonna have to get like a little. I'm gonna have to get a little like nest for him or something like right here, and just put him down, and he can hang out. Welcome to the show, everybody. Lots to cover today, boy. Oh boy, it's a good time. Also, let's see. Why is the Discord? There it is. Okay, I put it in a different screen. That's why. And then this guy. Oh yes, there it is. Good. Okay. Whew. I had to. Long story short. Where is it? Is it still down below? Where did I put it? I had a little breakout thing that I used for two of my monitors, and it what's the technical term? It ate shit yesterday. What are you going? Where is this thing? Where is the thing is going? I may have just thrown it out into Ritterfellis Jades, you know. But I in creating, in like putting the show together, I got a bunch of screens running. Let me tell you something. Also, Andrea, we need to get Mueller, She Wrote on here. I have a lot of questions about the Epstein stuff and this this red herring about Obama and Clinton stuff, which is garbage, and I will prove it today. And one of the reasons why everybody's mad that the story is just dying on the vine on the right is because it's just so nothing there. It's actually funny. I mean, especially in contrast to the horror and awfulness that is Trump Epstein. And by the way, hi chat room, welcome. The greatest chat room in the history of chat rooms, I might add. The sparklers and ancillary secondary members of those folks. Thank you guys for being here. I wish we could include in this the lovely folks over at Instagram and I see you guys on there joining right now. One Kloop says the cat is a scientist. Well, yes. And then of course our lovely folks over at Substack. I have to copy and paste this so that I can pick up this guy right here. There we go. And there's always a loop if I don't stop it fast enough. If you're in the Substack chat, hit a heart in there if you would. Throw a couple of hearts in there. Let us know you're there. Really helps. And whatever spelling you want to use, just throw in a blattum. I don't know if I've told you guys that story in long. We got a lot of new folks in here, and I don't know that you've heard the blattum story. So I grew up in Peaksmill, Kentucky. Went to Peaksmill Elementary School, and then I went to Elkhorn Middle School, named after Elkhorn Creek, which is just past just behind my house. And I had a bunch of friends then, including Charles Miller. Excellent, thank you. And my buddy Charles was the Beavis of our group. Whenever he got sugar in him, he would start punching everybody, including his friends, including me. And so I would have to sometimes put him in a headlock. And anyways, long story short, we had a dude who went to our school who will remain nameless, who just decided at one point, oh my God, thank you, Jerry, for the super chat. That's so lovely. um, he just decided he was just going to make up his own word. I give him credit for this. He was going to make up his own word that described his DGAF attitude. Because you can't say, I don't give a fuck in elementary school, you'll get into trouble. So he came up with, Blattum. And when I saw Anchorman and David did the whammy thing, it reminded me of Blattum, which you would do, and it was the bigger tongue flap you could put to it. Blattum was that was just it. Blattum. He's all like Blattum. I'm like Blattum. Like, okay. Anyways, there's no way that guy didn't either die in a gunfight or isn't currently doing time for blowing up his neighbor's trailer. That said, Blattum is I don't know what I don't know what the spelling is, but that is a true story about where I grew up. Yes, some people grow up in the Northeast where people that they went to school with wrote great works of literature and poetry, created great works of art, perhaps even architecture. I came up with Blattum. That's I got to walk out of there with Blattum. So good times. So what I'm trying to tell you is I speak MAGA. It's really what it is. Like, that's probably why I'm like the maggot whisperer, because I get what they're saying, even though it's bullshit. I go, oh, okay, I know what he's saying. He's wrong and dumb, but, you know, Blattum, right? Okay. Is Kentuckian for giggity? Yeah, it's pretty close. Although it predates giggity by about 2 decades, I would like to say. For the House Panthers. Thank you, Peter King. Blattum, right. So, okay. Now you're going to find yourself doing that, and I apologize. I'll try to get a song stuck in your head to clear it out. Yes, first Blattum, verse 12. The book of Blattum. And, Norway, there you go. Is that, if I squint, the background on my thing is blue, so I hope I'm getting that right. All right, now, or was that Sweden? 1,000 likes in 10 minutes. We could do this. We could get 2,000. I think so. And by the way, by hitting the like right away, you share the show out faster in the, in the Ethernet, in the ethers of the net. Okay, so a couple things. One is we got to continue to deal with the meltdown around Epstein and all that, but I want to deal with the smoke screen right out of the gate. And I want to deal with it in the dumbest way possible. And I apologize that we're going to a clip from this particular person, but it's indicative of it gets right to the stupid right away, and it promises this clip and the person in it constantly is their mouth is writing checks their ass can't cash, as we used to say. All right. And in their defense of Doe 147, they're doing everything they possibly can to just like over here, and it's not working. It's just, and I'm enjoying how much it's not working. I got to be completely honest. But okay, so here we go. Let's jump right in. This is Durham Annex Explained. Now, a big drop of intel around the Durham Report, and this is like and it basically they dropped like the appendix for the thing. Seriously, it is the appendix to this. It's just like the notes around. This is what I was kind of talking about, right? I'm gonna guess this sums up how this case is complete ass better than anybody else. Okay. Right. So here we go. This is, and hell, I don't know. We may learn something. I may be wrong. This may be a broken clock moment. I'm sorry, I can't even do this with a straight face for Glenn Beck, where he actually, it's Hillary Clinton's obviously the issue here. Oh, by the way, I have a Benny Johnson clip for you as well, where Hillary is featured about about Epstein dying in jail while Trump is president. The fuck. But I'll show you that in a minute. Son of a bitch. Okay, so this is the idea that they they fabricated Russiagate, and that everybody knew they fabricated, and there was nothing there. And who's he? He's got. It goes. I think this is this is why I feel pretty comfortable. All right. Has anyone ever the subtitle Durham explained? Is this the smoking gun on Hillary and Russiagate? Is with a question mark? Is this? Has anyone ever walked into a situation where someone is holding a gun that is smoking and there's a dead body on the floor and someone goes, "Is that the smoking gun?" You know what I mean? If you're having to ask, I'm gonna guess no. All right, so here we go. This is Durham Annex Explained. Here we go. All of our answers about the current Obama Hillary distraction Russiagate thing. They're gonna put the first, middle, or final nail in the coffin.
John Solomon, welcome to the program, sir. How are you?
Oh, it's John Solomon. Okay, this is the guy who accidentally absolved Hunter Biden by posting shit on his website and not checking it.
It is great to be with you, Glenn. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. So I want to start with this premise, and I know you're the same way. I really don't care about the politics at this point. Politics will follow later. I want to know the truth.
Okay, so by the way, horseshit. That's a lie. He absolutely cares about the politics of it. It's just that Donald Trump is such a liability right now because of the Epstein stuff that he's got this is the premise of it's the government. Notice when Biden does something they don't like, Biden did this. But when Trump does something they don't like, the government, you can't trust the elites. Suddenly, it's the elites and the deep state and the government. It's not, even though if it came from a direct order from Trump, it's the government doing it. Biden does it. It's just him rogue, right?
And if I'm reading the Washington Post or New York Times, they're saying, this is not news. These are all fake. These were all Russian tools, put out to discredit Hillary Clinton.
Speaking of Russian tool, John Solomon, thanks for joining us.
And so we shouldn't pay any attention. Tell me what was released and what you think at this point is true and not true.
I feel like they're locking this shit down. This is I don't know how we're ever going to escape the hard sell like this, All right.
Yeah, so what was put out yesterday is called the appendix, the classified appendix to John Durham's final report, the special project.
I see. So it's a useless part of the human body? All right.
Who looked at Russiagate. This was something he couldn't release publicly because it involved highly classified intercepts that the United States government had. These intercepts are of Russian spies, the GRU.
Okay, so there's intercepts of Russian spies that were included in the Durham appendix, the footnotes to his report, which shit the bed and didn't go anywhere. And this is fucking hilarious. Don't get me started. AI can be a scourge.
Other Russian spy agencies, and this has been a very successful program. There are multiple ways we intercept the Russian spies, but over the years, we've used this to make very major decisions about Russia. So the information is deemed to relatively be reliable.
Okay. I that's all I need here. This is information that we've used for years that we deem to be relatively reliable, meaning that relative to the circumstance and the other evidence we have, it's reliable. If it contradicts stuff, then they're fucking with us. But okay, here we go. Are Russians even real? I don't think so. I don't even think Russia's a real country. Have you ever seen it? I don't think so.
In fact, James Comey thought it was so reliable for this program that he used information from this program to rush out and wave his magic wand and decide that on his own, though he wasn't the Attorney General, he would clear Hillary Clinton of wrongdoing in the scandal. Why? Because the Russian...
No, and then he walked it back right before the election. If he hadn't done that, it would have, well, I guess they were unrelated. He basically jumped on the email scandal, which went nowhere, by the way, 2 years later, fucking nothing. He jumped on that right before the election to help Trump win.
Suggested that Loretta Lynch was part of an effort to fix the case, and he didn't want that to happen, so he fixed the case himself. And so we've acted on it. We've acted on this intelligence over the years. In July of
yes, and there are big chunks of it we haven't because we know it's bullshit. They feed lies into the system too to see what comes to the surface and yada yada. Like, okay. By the way, if he's trying to sell you the idea that we spy on the Russians and everything we get we take as gospel is just fucking dumb. And if that's the standard now, we're in deep shit. It explains Trump's complete, ball snuggling that he's doing of Vladimir Putin.
Durham says the United States government intercepted information saying that the Russians had found out that Hillary Clinton had developed a plan and personally approved it to hang a fake Russian shingle on Donald Trump's campaign house, basically accuse him of being a Vladimir Putin stooge, maybe be involved in the hacking of the Democratic National Committee computers. And
okay, so the Russians were talking amongst themselves. I heard that Hillary Clinton has planned to make Trump look like he's working with us. Really? I do hear something like that. Wait till they have the glass up against the wall before we are speaking of this again.
Deemed so credible that John Brennan ran and briefed Barack Obama on it. And then he briefed the entire senior leadership, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, James Comey, James Clapper, and, of course, John Brennan himself was the recipient of the information, so his agency did it.
Right. But he didn't go, this is, they're on to us. Like, he didn't brief them like that. He was like, we got this intercept. They're putting this in the thought stream. They either want us to believe it or they're leaking this, right? The idea is that they want other people to get this information through other sources, through their contacts in the Trump administration or the Trump campaign at that point.
Investigate it rather than use it as a reason to be dubious when Christopher Steele walks his dossier in, or Michael.
Oh, okay. So right before, when the Russians find out that Christopher Steele is going to blow the compromat that they have on Trump, they feed this horse shit into the pipeline to discredit it before it goes in the door. Gotcha. That's something they've never done before.
And walks in his Alpha Bank baloney. They actually lean into it. They actually decide they're going to investigate these allegations as real, even though there was enormous reason to be paused. Now, in these information, there are...
Sorry, there was enormous reason to what?
No, there was enormous reason to be paused. Now, in these information...
Enormous reason to be pause? Is that where we're on? To have a moment of...
There are purported emails in which someone in the George Soros world writes, hey, I just got told that Hillary Clinton's going to hang this shingle and the FBI is going to participate in it. Now, he denies he wrote the email.
Well, wait. He said...
But also, who? George Soros or someone within the Soros? Who is he talking about?
The FBI is going to participate in it. Now, he denies he wrote the email.
Wait 1 second.
There was enormous reason to be paused. Now, in these information, there are purported emails in which someone in the George Soros world writes, hey,
Someone in the George Soros world. You can't be more specific. Like, who? And what the fuck do you mean by in the George Soros world? Was he talking to George Soros? Was it an email to, what the fuck?
Got told that Hillary Clinton's going to hang this shingle and the FBI is going to participate in it. Now, he denies he wrote the email.
Well, wait. He says...
He said he quotes the Russians. They both said shingle. Okay.
Yeah.
He says, I don't remember writing it.
No.
One of the lines kind of sounds like me, but I have no recollection of it. Or did he actually say absolutely false? I didn't.
Why are you asking the question? If you know what he said, then that's what he said. If that's not what he said, what the fuck? What are you reading?
Yeah, he said I wouldn't have used language like that. I didn't write that email. He does. Now, Jake Sullivan's a little bit different. Jake Sullivan is, I don't remember it, but I can't rule it out. So Jake Sullivan, the national security advisor to both Clinton and Biden over the years, has a...
Sorry. So I'm having a hard time following this. And I got to tell you, a smoking gun should be fucking clear. And right now, I don't even know if the email they're talking about was written by mystery who the fuck ever, who apparently these assholes both know who it is, but they're not saying the name, or it was written by Jake Sullivan, and they don't know. I mean, it's a fucking email. Are there names involved in these? Who?
But different. But as you walk through this, the intelligence community ultimately decides that this is probably not a fabrication. The FBI does so in 2017. Now, doesn't stop them from continuing to investigate the bogus Russia collusion back, but they decide that this intelligence.
Also, you're going to need to do bogus in air quotes, because Trump is absolutely ate up with the dumbass when it comes to Vladimir Putin. Who the fuck would give a dude who sent rape squads into a sovereign country cities on purpose? Like we're not talking about like a rogue group of people committing a war crime and then the uppers had no idea and it's just fog of war and everybody went fucking ape shit, right? He sent them in to do it. How are you? I mean, you would have to be being blackmailed by somebody like that to put up with that shit, or to be okay with it, or to wave it past, right? Just right? They would have to have some sort of leverage on you.
Likely not fabricated. The CIA.
Likely not fabricated. If there's a smoking gun phrase. I'm so glad they put smoking gun in all caps.
Believes that it's likely predictive. Now, the way the program works, sometimes the Russian spies will fabricate in some way the detail. They'll make it look like it's an email, but it's really a summary. So we're
really, this doesn't look like an email. This looks like a summary. You mean they fake emails, or they write to each other and put notes again? Hey, remember the notes of the meeting we had where this Hillary bitch going to do all kinds of terrible things to our buddy Donald. Actually, take out the word buddy, okay?
Of that. But what we generally know is whatever we get from the program is probably accurate, even if it's not an exact replica of an email or an exact.
Jesus Christ. Does it say it or doesn't it? It's generally accurate, even if it's not an exact replica of an email. Motherfucker, we have video of Trump dancing with Epstein. Get the fuck out of here.
Replica of a text message. And so both
an exact replica of a text message. Just think about that phrase for a second. For real. Gee, I can't remember. I can't figure out why the Washington Post and the New York Times aren't running with this shit and really hammering this down. It's generally accurate, even if it isn't an exact replica of an email or an exact replica of a text message. What the fuck? Smoking gun. It's a smoking gun, baby. These guns are smoking.
The intelligence community said there's likely, the FBI and CIA, that this is not fabricated. It probably is reliable information. And
it probably is reliable information. By the way, that it's a real email or a text, but that it was also created by the Russians to sell this story. So they I got a replica gun, and they put a fucking match in the end of it to make smoke come out of the end, and it may not be the actual. It might not be a gun that can actually fire a bullet, and the person on the ground might not actually be dead, but it is a smoking gun if you squint.
He will tell us that what we intercepted actually happened. Hillary Clinton did exactly what we know.
Yeah, but that's like saying, like, somebody tipping somebody off, like, hey, man, they're going to raid your place, and when they go in there, they're going to find the knife, and then going, they're going to say they found a bloody knife in my apartment, right? Like, of course we are, motherfucker, because you know the knife is in there and we have a search warrant. Of course they're going to say that. Right? Of course. They're going to come out and say that the stuff that our guy told Christopher Steele that is true, they're going to come out and say it's true. Also, they didn't. The Clinton campaign didn't push this shit. As a matter of fact, they should have. But one of the lawyers there was like, this is fucked up. I'm going to the FBI. But it wasn't on behalf of her. I think they should have gone further with it, but they didn't.
Authorized the Steele dossier. They authorized the Sussman Alpha Bank stuff.
First of all, they authorized. Hillary Clinton didn't authorize shit. She wasn't in power at the time. And the Sussman Alpha Bank thing was a legitimate rundown. And by the way, if Bill Barr hadn't made Trump's financials, including the Alpha Bank linkages, off limits, the collusion thing would have been proven.
They went out on the news media and tried to.
Did they? They went out on the news media? Did they? What channel is the news media on?
Donald Trump as a fake Russian stooge for Vladimir Putin when he wasn't.
A fake Russian stooge is what he says. It's a suit here. Stooge for Vladimir Putin. He's not a fake Russian stooge. He was an asshat. He's a Russian asshat.
And I want to point out that most...
Also, when he wasn't. Citation needed, motherfucker. There was all kinds of contacts. Paul Manafort alone, working for Yanukovych, who fled to fucking Russia as them creating a backdoor. Don Jr. having meetings with that woman who wanted to get rid of the Magnitsky Act as effectively a front for smuggling information. Paul Manafort sharing polling data with the Russians. What are you talking about?
Evidence that the early intelligence people realized looked like the Russians either were fortune tellers or they
planned it
and had intercepted a real plan.
Oh, no. Or there's a third option here, Occam's rubber mallet being what it is, or the Russians knew that the Clinton campaign and others had gotten information on their relationship with Trump and were going to put it out. Because why wouldn't you? Ultimately, though, they didn't. Vox put out the fucking Christopher Steele dossier.
The early intercepts is that what's going to happen is Hillary Clinton has approved this plan, and then we're reaching out to Joe Biden for Joe Biden to take the lead on this. Well, guess what happens? Within 24 hours of that intercept.
Because they knew the information was coming out. Again, like, if your defense is, they planted evidence, which is basically what this idea is that this is the same thing, like going, I want a supervisor here. Don't open my fucking trunk. I know you can hear fucking thumping and screaming in my trunk, but you don't have a warrant. And when you open the trunk, you're going to say that woman in there doesn't want to be there just because she's screaming, crying, and her hands are duct taped. Jesus.
Joe Biden goes out, and he's the very first major Democrat to go suggest that Donald Trump's got a problem with Russia, that he's a stooge.
No, he isn't.
And that he's going to be bad for America, and that he's owned by Vladimir Putin.
Yeah, again, so far, no lies detected.
How would the Russians know that? How would they guess that and just know that?
Because it was their information, and they listened to us as much as we listened to them, and they got word that this information, they were tracking Christopher Steele as well because of who he talked to, and he probably talked to somebody who was still inside and worked both sides of it, or found, and they were like, hey, this guy's asking questions, and he's asking about this, he's trying to confirm some of this shit. And what did he say? Well, he tried to confirm the P tape, and he tried to confirm, the backdoor, banking stuff and the loan guarantees through Deutsche Bank and that kind of shit. That's what it is. Gee, I can't imagine how they would know that stuff, except for it was fucking true.
happen? How would they know that, the FBI was going to open up a case in a few days? So when the intelligence community looked
Because they knew the evidence was coming out because it was true.
back at this, the actual events of what played out with Hillary Clinton looks like exactly what the Russians knew in advance, and that's why they gave great credence to the idea that whether a specific email...
Again, I'd like to say for the record, if you stabbed somebody to death, let's just follow this true crime thing. If you guys are with me, chat room, see if this analogy works for you. You murdered somebody, you stabbed them to death, and you took the bloody knife home, and because it's your good stabbing knife, and you put it in a drawer in your bedroom, and then you had this idea that, like, they'll probably not find the body, and I'm going to go out of town, and I'm going to say I was out of town 2 days before I left, but they won't know because I drove. So you drive far away, and then they're on to you. They raid your house, and your lawyer calls you and says, hey, they've got a search warrant, they're here at your house, whatever. And then you go out in front of some cameras and go, these assholes are going to say now that they found a bloody knife in my dresser. That's what they're going to say, and we know it. And you're talking, like, if they showed your emails back and forth between you and your attorney, they're going to say they found that knife in my dresser. They're going to say they found it. Is it yours? Well, that's neither here nor there. I mean, I don't know. There might be a knife in there. I don't remember there being a knife in there, but there might be one. Anyways, it's, they're going to say they found one. This is fucking Scott Peterson shit. All right.
Is accurate or not, the general information the Russians had intercepted likely occurred.
Yes, because somebody was snooping around the compromat and the financial dealings they had with Donald Trump that were important to them. And also, I'm going to guess they didn't use the phrase, I don't know what the Russian would be for, but hang a shingle around Trump's neck. I think they said something along the lines, they're going to make a connection between Trump and us. You guys are like, they're going to pretend. And then again, if they said, they're going to pretend Donald is our buddy, that sounds like they know they're being listened in on.
So then why did Durham bury this stuff?
Because he didn't. It's just that everybody who looked at it in the appendix was like, oh, yeah, that's fucking stupid.
Because what they're saying is they had all this stuff. Durham was, this is under the Trump administration. Why didn't this come out if it was?
Yeah, you know what was under the first Trump administration? The death of Jeffrey Epstein, if indeed he's dead.
Real. This is they're just doing a hatchet job on, Hillary and Obama. I mean, the New York Times said the reason why this is out is because he's trying to avoid his name being, in the Epstein files or whatever.
Or whatever. What do you think the chances are it's or whatever? I'm going to go with, I think it is the Epstein files. I'm going to go out on a limb. I don't know if it's I don't know what the or whatever could possibly be. But I'm pretty sure it's to distract from the Epstein files. Yeah.
That's right.
It also could be a distraction from the fact that he was caught cheating at golf, because he's such a lame ass that he's probably equally offended being associated with a child predator and being caught cheating at golf. To Trump, I think it's a wash between those two things.
So why didn't we come out with this? Why are we just hearing about it now?
Well, in fairness, there were parts of you had to work hard because John Durham's team was not a good writing team. But the original report in the unclassified...
Not a good writing team. Well, the appendix was there the whole time. They didn't change it. They haven't updated it since, stupid.
Version had a lot of this, and I wrote about it a couple of years ago, and I spent the last 2 years trying to get this declassified. And when I brought President Trump on my show a couple of weeks ago, I asked him, he said, I'll do it. And 2 weeks later, he gave it to Chuck Grassley. So he did what we asked him to do. I have been advocating for the release of the classified version for 2 years. You could tell there was something very important. John Durham generally talks about the Clinton Plan Initiative. Most reporters didn't see it as significant. I did. And I think now we see why it's significant, which is the FBI had a very good reason not to investigate Steele's dossier based on this intercept.
Well, they didn't ultimately, right? they didn't run it down. That's the thing. The whole point of this was that the Steele dossier was the reason that the whole, the oranges of the Mueller report was the Steele dossier. And because that was some sort of illegal document, I don't know what the fuck that is, or the FBI shouldn't have looked at it because there's no way to predicate the beginning of an investigation into it based on, opposition research, no matter how it gets to you, which seems a little fucked up. That was supposed to nullify the whole Mueller report.
Very good reason not to go to the FISA court and seek fake surveillance warrants.
They weren't fake surveillance warrants. They were real surveillance warrants. Papadopoulos is a dipshit. He mouthed off in a bar to an Australian diplomat, and Carter Page was a fucking courier.
Reason not to bring the United States through the trauma of what we call Russiagate, but they chose.
It was the trauma. Are you guys okay? Chat room? Are you guys okay? Are you dealing with the trauma of Russiagate?
Not to do it. And it's the same FBI that a few months more earlier had used the same Russian intelligence intercept program to take concrete actions in the Hillary Clinton case. So when it's beneficial to a Democrat, they treat the Russian intelligence as real. And when it's detrimental to a Democrat, they try to dismiss it as Russian disinformation.
Well, in their defense, when considering how the Russians felt about Donald Trump and how they felt about Hillary Clinton, the general tenor of the assistance that was coming from Russia was to support Donald Trump and help bury Hillary Clinton. So that maybe is why. Maybe that's that relative part we were talking about.
Say this: history shows in the last few years, when the New York Times tells you that something is true or not true on Russia, they've been generally wrong a lot.
Nope.
And when Democrats call something Russian disinformation, like the Hunter Biden laptop, we should all be a little dubious. That is
what I'm sorry. First of all, it says the Hunter Biden laugh, which is hilarious. But the Hunter Biden laptop. Sorry, what laptop? There is no Hunter Biden laptop. Doesn't exist. I call bullshit. The only Hunter Biden laptop I know of is the one that he and his lawyers turned over to the IRS in his tax case. The one that allegedly came from the repair shop in Delaware, from John Paul McIsaac's shop or whatever. Horseshit. Where is it? It's probably buried right next to the 3 minutes missing from the Epstein video.
Going on right now. That machinery of the New York Times and the Democrats are back to the Hunter Biden language. We should be dubious. We should get to the facts. One of the things in the New York Times story this morning completely omitted. In the Durham Report, it says that the FBI concluded that these were likely not fabrications. You think the New York...
Right. No. They didn't think they were fake. They thought they were intentionally made, like, I guess. But we don't even know what fucking email you're talking about. Like, look, if this is new information and they're trying to show this shit off, then maybe just clarify it a little bit. Which email are you talking about? It certainly isn't Jake Sullivan's. It's this mystery someone in fucking Soros's orbit, so you can just say Soros. Fuck me.
Would put that in their story, but I couldn't find it in there.
No, it's not. It's not.
Neither of you could find your ass with both hands or each other's. And I believe you've tried.
John, give me the best argument on their side.
I already have several times. How about this? This is a flaming pile of dog shit.
That should cause you to pause and go, well, maybe this isn't right. Can you find what is the
Durham
best? Go ahead.
You mean the entire reason why the Durham report was a fucking flop to begin with?
John Durham never found an email, though he had access to subpoenas. I don't think he never found an email that matches the one that is attributed to the Soros Foundation. He did find others, and he found...
Well, okay. Let's start with the one you're talking about that you guys have both discussed, which either exists or doesn't exist, and the people who wrote it either we don't know who the fuck they are, or they don't remember, or haven't written it, or don't know what the fuck you're talking about. How about how about that one email? Since your whole case rests on that shit.
Language in other emails that were sent that are identical, but just not from this guy. Now,
there's language from other emails that are identical, but not from this guy. So you're gonna take a conversation between other people that is not attributable to a source. It's just a conversation probably between people, and attribute it to a source that came from intelligence. Meaning that, like, there's a news story that's around. They don't have an actual quote from the people involved, but we'll just go with what's written in the story, and we'll assume, because of the characterization of the conversation in the article, that that's what was actually said, even though it's not a direct quote, and even though they don't even claim it's a direct quote. They're just talking amongst themselves. So some paragraph in a story sounds like something you wish was in an email from somebody you wish was guilty, and you don't have that email or that person's fucking name. God damn, this is lazy.
Is something that happens a lot with the Russians. They know that we're spying on them, so sometimes they mix things up. They intentionally say this came from Joe when it came from John.
No, they intentionally fabricate shit out of whole cloth because they know someone's listening to like send them off on a wild goose chase.
That if we do intercept it, we think it's misinformation, but in fact they haven't. So John Durham ultimately concludes that these were...
Sorry, John Durham was emailing with the Russians? Or was this Joe Durham?
Probably compilations of real intelligence. By the way...
Concludes that these were probably compilations of real intelligence. Gee, I can't imagine why Obama isn't being perp-walked right this very second. Hey, maggots, come get your boy. This is fucking pathetic. Maggots, do you actually think this lands? Do you think, by the way, do you think if Democrats made a case like this against Trump or people in his cabinet, right, or Kash Patel, right, you'd be okay with that? This would sell it. How this is being spoken of concludes that these were probably compilations of real. Jesus Christ. You know what else was a compilation? The fucking 10 hours of video of Epstein's cell that may not have even been from the same fucking day. God damn. So I know one of the reasons I wanted to cover this is because some people, like, you feel like they're going to, use lawfare and go after Obama. And this is, it makes some people nervous to even hear the story being talked about and stuff. And I just want to take you through this so you know what a fucking joke this is. It's not going anywhere. That whole, like, the whole Tulsi Gabbard thing is just, I mean, she might as well have just, like, wheeled up to the mic and gone and walked away. Jesus. And this is so, it gets weaker the more you hear about it. And these motherfuckers can't stop talking.
That's a very important thing. John Durham says, all right, it doesn't matter if the emails are exactly from who they say they are. The intelligence in them is likely to have been true.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. Your Honor, I rest my case. It doesn't matter if the email is from who I say it is. The intelligence in them is likely to have been true. The fuck out of my courtroom. For real. Listen to that again. Listen to this shit.
From who they say they are, the intelligence in them is likely...
Oh, I have to back up a little further because the whole sentence is amazing.
They haven't. So John Durham ultimately concludes that these were probably compilations of real intelligence. By the way, that's a very important thing. John Durham says, all right, it doesn't matter if the emails are exactly from who they say they are. The intelligence in them is likely to have been true.
Jesus Christ. Does anyone think that anyone could go to jail over something like that? That's the evidence. even if this was against a Republican, you'd be like, I don't know what to tell you. That doesn't sound like a case to me at all. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Your Honor, we just feel that, like, I don't know, you get me, I get you, and all right, maybe the paperwork I brought in may not be from the defendant. I may have or may not brought in a copy of the yellow pages. The important thing is that every number that person that name-wise that the defendant is accused of being involved with is in that phone book. They just may be in alphabetical order and separated largely by ads for plumbing or detective services. You know what, Your Honor? I'll show myself out. This is glorious. This is a whole segment, by the way. This is Glenn Beck bringing on John Solomon to explain this. I would argue this is the kind of segment you have when you're just you're fucking shit talking, and then you have to bring somebody on later to do a 4-minute segment to kind of tighten this shit up because nobody knows what the shit you're talking about.
So this is another reason why I felt that these were credible when they first, before I even read any of it.
That's amazing. That's hey, Glenn Beck, fuck you, dude. How fucking dare you? You're gonna shit on the New York fucking Times, and then you're gonna say this.
Intelligence in them is likely to have been true.
So this is another reason why I felt that these were credible when they first, before I even read any of it.
Fuck you. What kind of an asshole do you have to be to even say something like that? My God.
I started, reading some of the, summaries of them and comment.
Oh my God. Before you didn't read the emails or the actual documents. You're talking about reading the summaries in the appendix, and you made up your mind before you started reading them, and you still had to bring this motherfucker on to tell you, is this a thing? Is this a Jesus.
About him. And the left was immediately saying, it's old, it doesn't matter, it was 10 years ago. And I thought...
No. It's not about the timeline, dummy. This is not about it being old. This isn't water under the bridge. That's what Trump says about his relationship with fucking Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein is the one who's like, are you still talking about him? No. This was bullshit when Durham came out. That's why nothing happened. And it's bullshit now. It was always bullshit. It's still bullshit. And you two assholes can sit across from each other in the nude, spoon-feeding each other bullshit and saying num-nums. It doesn't change a fucking thing.
Wow, right. Russian disinformation, and it doesn't matter anyway. That's usually the sign that it's
We've
it's
heard
really
that
dangerous.
song. It's going to be a country song someday.
Right.
Yeah.
What makes this different than all of the other stuff that doesn't go anywhere?
It's not going to go anywhere, and it's hilarious.
Well, listen, it may not be different, and that will be that.
Is it the smoking gun? Liquefying minds want to know. Well, I don't know. Maybe another load of shit. I don't know what to tell you. The more I talk about it, the more it sounds like shit to me. It probably isn't. I don't know. Maybe, but I want your we'll string your viewers along.
The legacy of this era, that we unraveled one of the worst political scandals in history, and we really couldn't hold anyone accountable.
Why do you say this? Wait. Why do you say this is one of the worst political scandals in American history? That's quite a statement.
Right, because he's trying to ignore the fact that Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were friends for 25 fucking years, and that we now know that Jeffrey Epstein had a relationship with the Russians, and that's why he funneled his money through banks in Russia near the end of his life, or allegedly, as opposed to the Caymans or Switzerland or whatever, where other respectable scumbags filter their money through. No, he chose Russian banks, and that wasn't by accident, was it?
It is, because in no other time in history have we found a U.S. intelligence and FBI apparatus used to carry out a political dirty trick. Listen, they knew.
Okay. Okay. Okay, simmer. That's, I'm fairly certain J. Edgar Hoover's ghost would like a word. You're stealing his thunder.
The Steele dossier was fake. They just said it. They continued to use it to spy and mislead the FISA court. They knew that the career officials of the intelligence committee didn't think Vladimir Putin was trying to help Donald Trump win the election, and they overruled them and rewrote the report.
No, they didn't at all. No, they didn't think Vladimir Putin was trying to change physical votes, like hack into machines to do it. He was trying to influence the election on behalf of Donald Trump. That was for sure. But he also didn't give a shit. Ultimately, he just wanted chaos in the system. If she won, he was just going to undermine her using the system the usual, select idiots that, work for him, whether they know it or not, in the right-wing media, or directly pay them, like in the tenant media situation, if Trump gets in power.
Those are incredible abuses. These are the most powerful tools we give the U.S. intelligence community and the FBI. They're supposed to only be used to go after our enemies, terrorists.
And they were.
Intelligence threats to America.
Yeah, okay. Yes. Success then. I think they should have gone further, but at that point, Russia was our political enemy for sure, and they were a threat to the country, yeah.
In this era, from the 2016 to 2019 timeframe, we see those.
Just all of a sudden, did all the spies just hide during COVID 2020?
These are being used to carry out political missions, to denigrate a political opponent, to
also denigrate a political opponent. Trump was in office. He ran everything from January of 2017. And he had his own people in. He bounced Comey, and he put Chris Wray in there. He's the one who put fucking Powell in his seat.
Falsely call true evidence of wrongdoing against a Democrat, the Hunter Biden laptop, disinformation.
What laptop? What laptop? Have you seen a laptop? Has Kash Patel brought out a laptop and gone, here it is. There it is. It's got the sticker on it and everything. Beau Biden cancer charity sticker right on the top of it. It's got to be Hunter's. Is there anything on it? Nah, it's waterlogged, and the hard drive was unsalvageable. We weren't able to get it. But physically, here it is. Are there any, is the serial number tied? Well, it's been ground off or something. It was damaged while it's been held and stuff. Hunter Biden's fingerprints not on it or anything like that? Are there John Paul McIsaac's fingerprints on it, for that matter? Did they bag it? Were they wearing gloves when they picked it up? Or did they just kind of fucking throw it under their arm or in their bag and split? What, To
use the FISA court to spy on your political enemy, submitting to it to get that permission, unreliable and inaccurate information.
First of all, this is, by the way, this is them trying to use the existence of the Steele dossier as a predicate for the entire thing to undermine the Mueller investigation, not the content of the actual findings. Because the Mueller report itself had findings that if you went, okay, everything in here, we have a reason to look. There's some hinky fucking shit we found. And so the predicate for it, like whether you had, reasonable suspicion to open the person's trunk is what they're arguing, not the contents of the fucking trunk. The corpse and the duct tape and the fucking, shovel they found.
Is one of the greatest abuses. In past times, we've had a lot of abuses in intelligence communities, things like we tortured people, and we did things. Here, the abuse is the American people. The intelligence.
Oh, I see. So sticking electrodes on somebody's testicles and trying to get them to confess to being a terrorist in a fucking black site, that's one thing. But the poor American, how fucking traumatized were these motherfuckers by having a black president? Is that really what we're dealing with? I think so. I think 8 years of having a black president, just fucking something snapped in some of these assholes' heads.
Tools were used to carry out a political dirty trick designed to deceive the American public about who they elected and who they might elect. And I think that's why it's such a big scandal. You have to get to 30,000 feet to look at it. You can get into...
No, you don't. Why would you want... Well, hold on. You mean you have to get so far away you can obscure the actual details of the thing to basically have it form the pattern of something that you insist it does? It's like, I don't know. Sure, clouds are water particles in varying degrees of vapor and ice crystals and that kind of stuff forming these clouds in different shapes or whatever. But I see a fucking rabbit. There's a rabbit there. There's a giant fucking rabbit in the sky, okay? And you got to get far enough away from the cloud to see. It's not a cloud at all. Bullshit. Ice, water, light refracting off of mist. Blah, blah, blah. That's a fucking giant rabbit. There is a giant rabbit in the wind blew it. Now it kind of looks like a turtle. How ironic. That's what he's talking about. It's Harvey, right?
And then it gets complicated. But the FBI and CIA...
Listen to that. Wait. That was sweet. That was a sweet little morsel, and I don't want you to miss that. Deceive the American people about who they got, and then
elected and who they might elect. And I think that's why it's such a big scandal. You have to get to 30,000 feet to look at it. You can get into the weeds, and then it gets complicated. But
well, I got to tell you, most court cases are not won from 30,000 feet. As a matter of fact, they get really evidence heavy real fucking quick. It gets pretty goddamn weedy. I feel like we're falling for the distraction. No, we're fine. I'm just pointing out that if any of this like haunted the back of your head, we're like, oh man, maybe they're planting something. Maybe this will work, or maybe this will go somewhere. Maybe this will result in maybe they're going to try and force this through. Like it isn't going anywhere. Even if they brought fucking Obama and Biden and everybody else in front of a fucking court, the judge would go, what the fuck are you talking? Get out of here. Like, it's silly. And I wanted to reassure you guys by just cut straight to it. Like, I see, like, they have definitely gotten marching orders. Him, Megyn Kelly, Charlie Kirk, all these folks, they have all gotten marching orders. Cover this story. Go back and basically relitigate the Durham Report. Make this about Hillary Clinton. No, people hate her, right? The problem is nobody hates Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama and Joe Biden, even on the MAGA side, as much as they hate Jeffrey Epstein and a network of billionaire pedophiles victimizing children. Nobody. I mean, they try. Maybe Roseanne. Very possibly. Roseanne might hate Hillary more than she hates Jeffrey Epstein. I think that's a distinct possibility. But this isn't going to work. It is not going... There is no there to start with. Their argument on top of it is fucking bananas. It's so weak. And even they don't understand. Like, listen, we're 11 and a half minutes into this almost 13-minute clip of this segment of him interviewing him. Do you think, honest to God, Glenn Beck will lie if you asked him, do you think he's any closer to understanding this now that he's talked to John Solomon for fucking 11 and a half minutes about this issue? And his end thing is, I don't know, maybe it won't make a difference. I don't know. You have to look at it from 30,000 feet because you can get into the weeds and it gets really complicated. Shut the fuck up. You should have started with that and moved on to another topic.
The FBI and CIA were used to deceive the American people and to potentially thwart the will after they elected Donald Trump.
Did they create his shit response to COVID? Did they create all of his fucking racist responses after George Floyd was killed? Did Democrats concoct that shit? Did they make his fucking ridiculous phase 1 China deal? Did Democrats keep him from drafting an infrastructure bill and passing it when it would have passed bipartisan? There's nothing about the Infrastructure Act that Biden passed that wouldn't have gotten through the Congress while Trump was president if he'd have just tried. He just didn't give a shit. Does that have anything to do with fucking Russiagate? He had time to golf.
Something we can't allow to happen again.
Yeah, how about we just never let Donald Trump near anything important again?
John, thank you. Thank you for everything you do. I know I say this to you every time, but you're one of the few guys I really trust, and I appreciate all the hard work you do.
Yes, all the hard work. It's not smart work, but it's hard. Also, thank you, John Solomon. I really appreciate you coming in and taking a confusing issue and making it basically, giving it erectile dysfunction. Effectively, is what I would say. Yeah. Autocorrect. Epstein story checks so many boxes. MAGA, QAnon obsession with pedos. MAGA, QAnon delight in going down rabbit holes. America's obsession with true crime. Absolutely. That's why they can't. That's why this won't work also, even as a distraction. But it makes it, because it's pathetic, it looks even worse for them. It looks like, that's why you got people like Joe Rogan saying we're being gaslit in this situation, right? The reason they're jumping straight to it and they're not tiptoeing around it is because the defenses, the stuff they've come up with, is so pathetic. Like, if there was something there, if they had a real crime they could go after people for, but it just sounds like rehashed horseshit.
Thank you.
That means a lot.
Jesus Christ, it's fucking, oh God. Okay, so anyways, I wanted to cover that because I thought it was important that we deal with this sort of the illusion of this.